everyone. Welcome to our podcast, I Say All That to Say, where we talk about marriage, relationships, life, parenting, current events, and anything else that comes up. I am Brooke, and this is
Terrell.
okay. So, thank you for joining us. Today, we are talking about this question here. Is marriage just a financial contract in disguise?
Okay.
So, when I ask that question, what comes up for you just before I dive into any other thing?
No, I don't think so. So in terms of just being a financial contract, um, for me, I mean, you have to love the person, you have to like them, you have to think they're attractive. Um, there's definitely benefits and things outside of financial gains and legal constructs that help a marriage work. I think those are benefits of being married, legal benefits. But in terms of an actual marriage just being solely based on that, no, that is kind of biblical stuff.
Um, I think it's historical stuff, not necessarily just biblical stuff. And is it a financial contract in disguise? Maybe. I think maybe it could be because I know we're talking about like what you said, love and all that mushy gushy stuff, which a lot of people go for that, right? You go for romance and you want to find your person. But that is new, like in the last couple of 100 years, like for hundreds of
she
years
said, wait,
before that.
she said new 100 years. Okay.
Okay, people have been around for thousands of years,
Right.
right? So before that, it was a contract. It was a way to expand your bloodline. It was a way for women were considered property
Right.
at a certain point. Women in this country didn't get to have what is it their own bank accounts until was it the 1950s or 1970s? I forget which decade it was without having a man sign. So to me, yes, there was a contract and some financial gain and stuff with it. Us newer generations are like, we want love, but everybody else before us was like, how are we gonna grow this family? How are we gonna maintain our money? How are we gonna, do all these things? So, and I do think some of us still carry some of that because I think the ways in which we talk about finances in relationships it's not always smooth for a lot of people. People come with different ideas about finances and how to handle them. So some people have a lot of debt, some people don't. Some people are very wealthy, some people aren't. You know, it's just a myriad of ways that things happen around money. So I don't think it's as simple as yes, marriage is just about love.
So one of the things that come up for me as you were kind of saying that and just kind of reflecting is now we're speaking from an American perspective, right? So there's still plenty other nations and countries where marriages are arranged,
Correct.
where you can't marry out of a different a family structure or a different caste system. So in a sense, when they bring in other cultures, when they bring two families together, it is more of a business transaction. So I'm solely speaking from an American standpoint.
Yeah, but I think you're speaking from an American love standpoint. I still think there are people here who who are like, I think there's certain levels of money where let me say that certain levels of groups who have certain levels of money that they will not look at other people in other groups. Like if you have certain millionaires, right, or people who are leaning into that billionaire mode in our country, do you think they're gonna just randomly marry like, oh man, I met this person at who worked at Starbucks and I fell in love? Like I don't necessarily think so.
There's plenty of millionaires who marry non-millionaires, which is why when they get divorces, there's these huge settlements for the
I'm
women.
not saying that that doesn't happen,
Oh, okay.
right? I'm saying that
All
in
rich people don't marry all rich
I'm
people.
not saying that, but I am saying in certain circles, I think they maintain the circle. Like, okay, I want a relationship, so I'm going to find someone in this circle, not just
Right.
anybody. And I, it's too bad, but I think that's how some situations are. And then you're right, there are other situations where you go after the person you love, and you're right. If you don't have that prenup, then you're sharing lots of assets that
Right.
you might not have wanted to. So I think it just really depends, but I don't think it's strictly love. I think for some people it is, but not everybody. And I think it's I think it's naive to think it's just strictly love because historically it wasn't, and it did not go away.
Well, no. So here's what I'll say, right, in reference to what you just said. I don't think anyone should marry strictly on love, right? So and maybe we'll touch on this, some of the future questions, but um, you should kind of look at it like it's both, right? It's both
Yeah, you
enhance
flip
out.
flopping right
No,
now.
no, 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 because you raise love first, but the other person can't be bad for business, right? In the same sense.
Okay, but why does it have to be love first? Like in arranged marriages, these people don't know each other. You can't grow to love somebody. I mean, have we not grown to love each other
I mean, did you
more?
marry me for the business perspective?
Can
From
I
a
finish my
business?
question?
All right then.
Have you not grown to love me more over time?
Ooh, more overtime. Hmm. I think my infinite love for you has been the same ever since we've met. It has never diminished or increased. It's just a vast wealth of you know infinite love.
Okay. Mine has grown for you over time. I mean, it deepens it, and that doesn't happen for everybody either. Like I was watching this woman, and she was with her mom and her aunt, and when they talked about marriage, the mom and the aunt was like, "No, don't do it." They've been married for decades. They had multiple kids. What do you like about motherhood? Nothing. Like it was just like it was shocking and hilarious. But some people might feel like, okay, you grow into love. Some people don't. You just kind of make the commitment,
Mm-hmm.
right? Because I'm committed to this family. I'm committed to having, kids and being a parent. There's different reasons.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know. I'm just saying, like, maybe for some people you start with love, and for some people you don't. And you can grow to love, and for some people you just don't have either, and you just there,
Okay.
I guess. Okay, so what is marriage really? So we kind of touched on this, right? Is it just a marriage license? Is it a legal contract? Is it having somebody who can make decisions for you if you get sick, if you get incapacitated, if you can't speak for yourself, different things like that in terms of your health? Is it to grow a family? Like, what is marriage to you?
Yes. Yes. All of those.
All of those. Okay.
That was simple.
Okay.
All of those.
I mean, I definitely think marriage is a commitment. And I think though all of those things that I just kind of listed off are important to consider because for people who are in long-term relationships without marriage, that health piece, I don't if you have like the will and the advance directives and all that stuff situated, great. If you don't, I
You
think
can't make decisions, right?
you can't make decisions for that person that you love. So if you're in a if you and I were in a long-term relationship not married, I legally don't have the right to make a decision for you. Somebody else could, like your mom, who lives in a totally another state, could be the one, even though I've been in a long term non married relationship with you and we are married for years.
Right.
And I don't know if people consider that because I know I've seen some discussion about people being really opposed to marriage. And they have different reasons, especially if you see marriages that are not good, it's off putting. But some of that contract piece really needs to be taken into consideration because if you don't get the legal contract, you better at least have some legal contract that says I can make decisions for you. What happens to money? What happens to assets? And you don't have to be married for that, but you have to have the documentation for that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Would you marry without the legal benefits? If there were no inheritance rights, no legal
Mm.
protections, no tax advantages, nothing. Would you, if none of that was a factor and it really was just the fumes of love, like, would you marry without that
Oh
stuff?
man, that's a good question. What's the point? We could just have a commitment ceremony. Like we could. There's no need to spend money on a wedding, right? There's no need to have all this extravagant stuff that comes along with being married. We could just go by a lake, something like that.
Violate.
Commit to one another before the cosmos or before God or before the universe. There's no reason. What would be the reason to actually have a marriage, quote unquote, if there were no legal benefits? Like we could have our own defined ceremony. I don't
But if there was no legal benefits, are you like, would you not even call it a marriage? Like, can it still be marriage? Because the marriage is the
no we
commitment,
have
right?
no we are committed by word and by soul contract or something like that. Like we've made our own path. There's no reason to go before church, priest, court, anything. For what? I mean, court is legal, right? So,
Yeah.
actually, if you go before a pastor or a preacher or whoever, there's legal documents there too. So, like, then what's the point?
I mean, I guess you can have a pastor or a priest or whatever religious professional do it and just not sign the legal documentation.
Because
But
there
you
would be
still,
no legal documentation.
right. So you would still have this spiritual ceremony. Um, you know, if I was younger, I probably would. But now that I'm older, no.
Why not?
um, I think when I was younger, I was much more of the mindset that you had about like love, like marrying for love and wanting to find your person. And now that I'm older, if there are no legal benefits, which to me says there are no financial benefits, then
Get your shack.
no, I'm on my own. Leave me alone. I'll have a companion from time to time. Like you ain't have to be all up in my space.
Wait. So you're saying that if there was no legal marriage, then you wouldn't even be in a like you wouldn't live with the person. Y'all would live separate. Or you would just be boyfriend girlfriend separate.
I did not say boyfriend and girlfriend. I said companion, meaning you're like a special friend.
Oh, so you wouldn't even be committed.
For what?
Here's the thing: like in a committed relationship, right? You could still benefit financially, right?
Yes,
Bring
but
all
I
the
said, but I
bring
said
all
I'm
the
older,
yeah. So you
right?
bring all the bills. Oh, okay. So you would pay bills separate, have your own separate bills. The other person have their own separate bills.
Potentially, if I really wanted that sort of thing, right?
Mm-hmm.
Then maybe I could be a part of like some co-op or community or something.
Co-op.
Don't they? I don't know what it's called. Not a cult, but you know,
That's what it sounds like. That's exactly what it sounds like.
just something where everybody's shipping in.
Okay, so you got to be a 40-plus-year-old woman with roommates. Is that what you're saying? With your committed boyfriend living someplace else, it is at his house.
I
I
saw.
don't believe it. I don't believe it. Ain't no way you gonna have separate bills, living with roommates like a reality show, and here your boyfriend is in a single family home solo.
I saw this tiny home community
Oh Lord,
in
have mercy.
I think it was Georgia or something. And they had the different ones, and then they had like a communal fire pit, and they had these different things. And I was just like, that is really
So
cute.
you wouldn't have kids then?
Well, I'm older. I said older. I
Okay.
said if I was younger, I would approach it differently, right? But if I'm older, it would be a totally different thing. So if
What's
I'm older,
older?
no, I don't have
What's
kids.
the age? So if you're 35, 35, no kid.
35 is not old.
Okay, so all right, so if you're 40,
Maybe, I don't
40
know.
so
50?
40
Let's
wait, so
know,
40,
50.
40.
50 and up.
So okay, so then what about the kids piece then? So what happens if you have kids? Do you still then what happens? Do you live together, raise the kids together, or do you all live separate?
I had kids with this person.
Yes.
Oh, okay. Well, then that's different. Because see, I was talking about like having either adult children or no children.
Okay.
Like if I had adult children, no children, this is different. If I had kids with this person, then that's a totally different thing.
Okay.
Then maybe we figure out how to make this thing go.
Goes
But
it goes the same way. You just don't have any legal benefits. No tax benefits. No
no, I don't think it goes the same way for me. I'm not sure. I haven't fleshed this out, and I'm not going to necessarily because it's not like real. But no, no.
the person who makes the most money benefits from it from no legal stuff.
Okay.
And the person who has the assets in their name benefits from the legal stuff.
Okay, but you can still do legal stuff without being married. Like I
Like
already
what?
explained that. Like you can have you can create a trust. You can have the will. You can do those things because those are separate from the legal documentation behind marriage. I had separated
Yeah,
those.
but there's no if there's no legal constructs, if that doesn't exist, there's no reason for me to have a
But
trust.
I didn't say that. I only said marriage. I did not say about the other stuff. You're adding that. I didn't say that. I just said, would you marry without the legal benefits?
So what's the legal benefits? Taxes, assets, being able to care for the person's health.
Okay.
What other legal benefits are there?
Any sort of what? Well, you said taxes. Gonna say the tax
Assets.
advantages. Yeah, I mean those are the ones off the top, I guess.
All right, so you eliminate those. Now we're together without that. I don't. Why am I doing an advance? Why am I doing a will or anything else?
Because
We're not. We're just boyfriend and girlfriend.
because you said that we had kids. That's why.
So I'll leave it to him or her.
But if the kid is under 18, who's going to you? That
They
kid
just
needs
get
a
away.
guardian. Hello, the mother is the guardian.
Okay, I guess so.
So it's still there. So yes, you can still create legal things that's not related to marriage because in the same regard, if you was like, oh, I want to leave excuse me, this asset to my cousin, you
Right.
still would create some sort of legal thing for that. I only said marry without legal benefits, not that there was no other legal stuff.
Okay.
Okay. All right, we're gonna move on because I'm not gonna about to head on this rabbit hole of something that's just not even real. But yeah, I just
you go, go on.
listen. We had already said, listen, okay, we had already had this discussion some other time where I said if we ever like separated,
Oh
divorced,
man.
or no, not separated, divorced. I said if one of us died, that's what I said.
Mm-hmm.
Would you remarry? And he was like, yes, and I was like, no. And so, do you remember that conversation?
Vaguely. I mean, we have these conversations about hypothetical situations
Yes,
that
we do all the time, all the time. But that's just that is the difference. So my answer about this was still leaning toward what I just said about like, oh, if he died, I probably wouldn't remarry.
I think
My
that
answer is in line with
the
that.
last conversation we had about that, I didn't say I would marry.
Yeah, shoot.
No, I said
Oh, he said he
I
would.
said I would run the streets. I'd be
He
outside.
said he would run the streets.
Yeah.
My bad.
Yeah.
He did say that. Okay. All right. All right. Next question. Do successful marriages operate like successful businesses? So here are some things that I have listed here. Like a successful business, you have goals, you have budgeting, uh, division of labor, who does what.
Division of labor. You have that written down?
It's right
Oh
there.
wow, okay. Sounds
Long-term
funny.
planning, conflict resolution. So those are some of the basic things related to a business.
Mm-hmm.
And the more successful you do those things, hopefully your business can be successful. So, do successful marriages operate like that too?
Yeah, the division of labor thing stands out, right?
Okay. Because you
Because we
did
don't.
cackle.
Yeah, because clearly we do not have a defined division of labor. We don't have that.
Okay.
So maybe we're not running our marriage like as successful as we could be in terms of business structure. So maybe we need to look at division of labor, and the kid's gonna be a huge part of that division of labor now that he's older.
Okay. Well, our child is not a part of our marriage. So the question is regarding marriage, a successful marriage and division of labor. So I'm not really clear on what you're saying.
About division of labor,
Yeah.
it's not defined. There's no defined division of labor in our. We do stuff when we do it. Some people you some people you may handle some aspects of chores, cooking, cleaning a little bit more. I may handle others a little bit more. We may mix and match, but there's no defined. This is who does this. This is who is responsible for this. This is who the project manager is for this task. That does not exist.
Right.
And I would say in terms of the question, um, that's something people should actually look at in terms of how your marriage is operating. In terms of where can we streamline things? Where can we make improvements? Um, is our marriage running like a functioning machine? And that's not something I don't think I've ever asked. There's things in our relationship, in our marriage, as it relates to how we go about looking at finances and things like that, and taking on new projects or new ideas. But I don't think we ever positioned it as a business and kind of looked at it like that. So I think that's something that we could actually use and actually learn from to improve aspects of our marriage.
Mm-hmm. I disagree with you. Like
What?
you just sat there and said you do some things more, I do some things more
Right.
than we do. To me, that is a division of labor. Like I don't see that this one person has to. Oh, okay. So the sofa is my area.
Right.
Like okay, the sofa's my area. The love seat's your area.
That's division of
Oh,
labor.
the carpet in the middle is both of us. Correct. That's what we do.
No. Okay. Wait. Right. Okay. Case in point. Who's responsible for doing the floors?
Doing what to them?
Cleaning them.
Who do you think is responsible for it?
Neither of us. We just take it upon ourselves to do it when we do it.
Okay.
Like, okay, we talk about in terms of like the upstairs. Who's responsible for vacuuming?
Who is responsible?
No one. We just do it when we do it.
Okay. Did that change over time?
Vacuuming?
Mm-hmm.
Maybe. Yeah. I think you vacuum more,
Uh-huh.
and then I vacuum more now.
No, you don't.
Okay.
No, you don't. Anyway, so the I think the thing that makes successful.
It's not defined. That's what it is.
I think what makes things successful and run like a business is for people to be on the same page. And in this case, it's the she said, he said, and then what actually happened.
But none of it is defined. That's my point. It's not defined.
I disagree.
So
I think it is.
So wait, let me get this straight. It's defined that you are the carpet vacuumer. It's defined.
Why are you saying me?
I'm just saying.
You just said you do it more. So why? Right. How did it then jump onto
so
me?
So that because you said you disagree that I do it more.
No, what I said was I disagree that there isn't a division of labor. That's what I'm disagreeing
Who does it?
on.
No. Let's stick to the vacuuming. Who does the vacuuming more?
I don't think there is a more. I think it's an equal.
We gotta rewind the tape. You said you do more.
Did I?
Yeah, you did.
Did I say? Hold on.
Yeah.
I said who did it in the past. You said it was me.
Yep.
You said you do it more now.
And you said, that remains to be seen, or something you said.
Right. Which doesn't mean that I said that I do it more.
Okay.
So you put words on. I did not say I did it more.
Okay.
I just basically said that you didn't do it more.
So whose responsibility is it?
Which means that it could be more equal. You're just acting like it's one or the other, and I didn't say that.
Okay, so whose responsibility? It's not defined. That's the thing about businesses. Businesses have roles, responsibilities, targets. They have that stuff defined. I think we don't necessarily. There's general ideas about things, tasks, and stuff like that in our relationship and our marriage. But there's aspects of that stuff that's not clearly defined.
Okay.
Yeah, that's all I was saying.
Okay, and all I was saying was I disagree.
So where is it written and defined that
it doesn't have to be written?
It's not a business.
Correct, because it's a marriage.
Yes, but so you don't agree that successful?
Do they operate like business?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
But you can operate like one because this is not a business and it's a marriage. You can operate like one and not have it written down.
A successful business? What successful business don't have things written down?
I'm not saying that successful businesses don't have things written down. I'm saying a successful marriage does not necessarily have to have, okay, you wash the walls, you wash the dishes written down. That's all I'm saying.
Case in point, do all successful marriages have an established budget?
I have no idea.
I think so.
Like the only marriage that I know inside and out is this one. And I can only infer about anybody else's marriage. Right. And I don't care what y'all say, you included, about people's marriage. You don't know what happens in anybody's house.
Okay.
So I don't care what people put out there. You don't know. So I cannot say, oh, well, successful marriages are like this. I think
that's the question, though.
The question, do successful marriages operate like that? And I asked you, my answer is, I don't exactly know. I think that's worth a conversation with people in a variety of marriages to figure that out.
Mm-hmm.
Otherwise, we're just coming up off the top of our head what we think.
But we're having a discussion, so
Right. But like I said, I'm not coming off the top of my head with what I think about our marriage because I'm in it. That's what I'm saying.
So
Like,
what's your answer to the question? Your answer to the question is I don't know.
I don't know.
Okay.
Do there are certain things in what I mentioned that I think can be really helpful to make a marriage successful. Do I know other people's marriages and what they do with this stuff? I don't know.
So let's reframe the question. Should a successful marriage operate like a successful business? That's a different question.
That is a different question.
So what do you think?
I think some of these things I listed, and plus there's more that I didn't list. So conflict resolution, absolutely.
Mm-hmm.
You, excuse me, need to know how to argue well. You need to know how to apologize and repair well. And it doesn't mean that it happens like this, even if you have to grow into that. But I still think that's really important. Do you have long-term plans and goals, whether short-term goals or long-term goals? I'm sure most people do, because if you don't in your marriage, I'd be surprised by that, just because most people have them in their individual lives. So
Mm-hmm.
I would think you would have it in your marriage. Budgeting, that's a big thing in terms of finances. So yeah, and then division of labor, who does what? This is okay. So this is why this one's tricky for me, because I think everything else makes sense, but that one, division of labor.
Okay, go
I'm
on.
not telling any jokes right now.
Go on.
Like, only because what I know, when we were younger and we first got married, we had talked about like who does what in terms of like cooking versus who makes more money, who, all those sort of things. And I think they were really out of a religious and um what is it called,
Matriarchy and patriarchy.
point of view for marriage.
Mm-hmm. And gender roles.
Gender roles, thank you. That's the things I'm thinking about. Gender roles,
that's
right?
why I kind of chuckle, because I knew you were going there.
Oh,
I knew you were going there. Like, I already knew. I knew.
Right. However, as I have grown up with you, as I've aged, things changed, we became parents, all of that, I realized that the ways in which we kind of grabbed hold of those things in the beginning doesn't necessarily make sense for a real healthy relationship, because I feel like so often, and I've seen this, even though, like I said, I don't know how people's marriages are, but I am in some mom groups and I'll see the mothers talk about how they have to do all this stuff with the kids and their husbands. And I'm like, this doesn't sound like the husband and wife are doing things around the kids. It sounds like the wife is, and the husband just lets her do it. Or I saw this other video where this man asked another man, "Oh, when is your son's birthday?" And he was fumbling over it. "When is your son getting married?" He didn't know the right date. He got the mom on the camera and he was like, "What is your son's elementary school teacher's name?" And she rattled off like 4 names. And I'm like, wait a second, there's something off here about this. Like, just because, let's say if you are the man in the relationship and you, or the breadwinner, right? It doesn't have to be a man, but you are the breadwinner and you make more money. It doesn't mean that that gets you off the hook from being involved in knowing the details of what's going on in your kids' lives. Do you take them to the doctors? Do you know who the teachers are? Do you help them with their homework? All these different things are not relegated to women, but they are. But they are, regardless of if the woman is working full time or not. And so that's why I think the division of labor one is tricky, because so often people look at that like, oh, well, if I make the most money, then I don't have to do this other stuff, or I can do very little of it. You are still a parent. Like, you do not get off the hook from that because you get a paycheck. Like, they are not the same thing, and it's been equated to that for so long. And they have that, what is it called, I think they call it like emotional labor, I think, that a lot of women do because of this that has been going on. And so that's why I just think it's really tricky when it comes to that. And so sometimes, so when you talked about how things evolve for us, yeah, because This whole you do this, you do that.
See, here's what
I'm gonna
happens.
finish my point.
No, but I mean, go
Hold
ahead.
on. You do this, you do that. I feel like sometimes we do that based on gender, but it needs to be based on commitment. It needs to be based on who is good at this, who is interested in this. It also needs to be based on what works for us both, not just I don't want to do this, so you do it. Like,
The only thing I'm gonna say is like our discussions are never that simple. Like my standpoint in terms of this whole division of labor thing is level of effort, right? So whoever the level of effort in the relationship as it relates to, I don't want to say labor, right? Because this kind of weird, but that's the term we're using in the question. The level of effort has to be equal. So like if let's just say if the breadwinner is a construction worker and he's on site for 12 hours and doing X, Y, and Z, is he going to come home and do the vast majority of the housework? No, I work construction. So the level of effort needs to be fair.
but I also think that's dependent on, excuse me, how you negotiate that type of stuff, right? Because yeah, you worked all this time. No, I'm not gonna come home and do that. Okay, maybe you can do it on Sunday then. Like,
Why,
because today was Wednesday, so
why
yeah,
would
you didn't
I?
come home on Wednesday,
Why
but
would I? Why would the construction worker do whatever this is on Sunday, and hit the spouse doesn't work?
oh, you didn't say they didn't work.
No,
Maybe
I'm
they
just
don't
saying.
work. Maybe
Yeah.
they okay.
Now, if you got
So hold on.
if
So
wait wait
hold on.
if you have two partners who are working, then that's where the discussion is a little bit different, right? If you have it is.
Hold up. You just said so. There's kids involved in this.
Yeah.
Okay.
Even
So
kids
so
or kid
being
wait
so
kids or not. Yeah.
so being at home is work.
Yes, exactly.
So when you say that he came from work and he shouldn't have to do more work, so you think that she was at home with the kids working and should be doing more work?
Depends. So when you said as a kid, is the kid in school? Because if the kid's not in school, she's not at home doing school.
I
She's
don't
not
know. You are
doing parenting.
evolving this.
She's not
You
doing
are
parenting
evolving
work.
this example. So
Right?
I don't know.
Okay.
So
Even
let's
even talking about wait.
yes, the
Even
kid's
I
not
get
in
home. Talking about
school.
I okay. Great. I get home. I get home at the kid's not in school. How old is this kid?
I
They taking naps.
don't know. Yes.
Okay. So okay. Great. I'm gone for 8 hours. I travel an hour to work. I travel an hour back. So I'm gone for 10 hours.
Okay.
I come home 10 hours. You've been working for
10 hours.
the same 10, but there's naps in there. So you're not working for the same
How
10
many
hours.
naps?
We just said two.
We
Or
didn't say
what? I
two.
said an hour. An
Oh.
hour. So you've worked for 9 hours. I've worked for 10
So
hours.
what was she doing in that 1 hour?
Sleep, I said nap. What were you doing?
Who? No, the adult. What was the adult doing during that one time?
Downtime. I don't know. Chilling.
Or she could have been prepping lunch.
Okay.
Or like, what are you talking
So
about?
great. So okay. So great. So this is what I mean about level of effort. So great. It is you have currently set up an equal scenario. Right?
Okay.
I get home. I gotta go to work.
Okay.
Now it's unequal.
Not necessarily if
Why?
you negotiate what each person is doing.
Right. That's why I said it has to be equal.
It's not.
Level of
Listen,
effort has to be
I
equal.
would say so many relationships are not equal, and
Yeah.
yeah, any marriage professionals will tell you that it's sometimes it's like a 80-20. It's a what like it's not 50-50.
No one said 50-50. Level of effort has nothing to do with 50-50.
You said equal. Equal
Level
is
of
50-50.
equitable.
Like,
Level of effort doesn't have to do because
no, this thing is
your
stuff is evolving and flip flopping every which way.
Based on the example, if I'm a construction worker, I'm lifting bricks and concrete. So it ain't never gonna be equal.
I don't know what you're doing in construction. You could have been clipping the tree branches. You talking about concrete. I don't know that.
Outside 100-degree weather. Okay. All right, let's move on.
This is a real argument that we've had, by the way, and we are not on the same page. So we are going to move on. Okay. So the next question was, is love enough to sustain a marriage?
No, you can't be broken in love. I'm sorry. You can't. I mean, you technically you could be broken in love, but you can't be broken married. No, no, it's just not gonna work. There's gonna be arguments. Nah, it's just not gonna work. You can't be broken married. I'm sorry,
What the?
you can't. Two broke
What
people married.
do you?
It just doesn't work. It just
What do
doesn't work
you
for me.
mean? Like,
There will be fights about money.
hold on. Are you wait? You're. I can't even get it out because
The
you
next,
just shocked me
look at the
from
next,
that.
look at the next question. The next
Why do
question,
finances break
because you
them?
can't be broke and married. Like you
But
can't.
that's not you're you're assuming broke as opposed to um maybe we don't have a lot of money for other things, but we have enough money for what we need.
Sorry, then let me rephrase this.
Or
No. I'm gonna rephrase. I'm
okay.
gonna fix this. I can't be broken married, so like, can't. I'm too old to be broken married. Like, and
Oh
here's why, right? I like it's funny, but I'm future oriented, right? So my whole thing is I'm married, I'm broke. When I get old, there ain't gonna be no money to take care of nothing. Like you can't be broken married. I'm sorry. Like my future thinking doesn't say that because one of us is gonna get old first, right? Or if we get old,
well, it's you because you're older than me.
I'm not talking about I'm not talking about age. I'm talking about like in terms of physical abilities. Somebody's gonna break down first. There has to be money for that.
I'm not gonna break down. I'm actually ramping up. Okay, you give the face. Okay, but I lost 20 pounds from last year. I've
That's
been
right.
going to the gym. Okay,
Okay.
I am working on.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah, that takes money too. You gotta pay for gym memberships. Gotta pay for the right food.
Excuse me. You can do calisthenics, and that is free.
Okay.
That's
Uh, all right.
hilarious to me. And I think this is why finances break people because you're not on the same page because you don't talk about like if how much debt you really have, how you're spending, how you're saving. If you keep that stuff a secret, yeah, I think it will, cause some really major issues because everything is tied to buying stuff.
Wait, no, don't skip past the question
What?
though. Can't is love enough to sustain a marriage based on your perspective?
Oh, my bad.
She agrees with me. She agrees.
To sustain one potentially because if I love you the way that I say I do, then I'm willing to work on things to be better, right? Whether it's to work together toward a shared goal, to, anything like that. Like that's gonna want me to not like if I'm in love with you and all I am is just gaga Google eyes over you, and I don't let that lead us anywhere. Well,
That's infatuation.
right, then it's probably infatuation, it's lust, whatever. But if I really love you, like I say, then that might be a part of the foundation of things to help move us forward, right?
No, ladies and gentlemen, as an older guy, telling you don't do it. Don't just marry for love. Like we talked about things in terms of business structure and
Well,
all
wait,
that stuff.
okay, but hold on. I'm answering a different question. Can love sustain a marriage?
No.
I did not say marry for love. Those are two different things. Because the
Here's
question,
why.
hold on, the question to me is saying you're already married.
Made so no.
Is love enough? And what you're about to go into is love enough to get married?
Right. Okay. So let me stay here. Right. Sustain, maintain, whatever. No, because I still gotta like you. Like how many? How many? Come on. Let's be
Oh,
clear.
you're saying
How
that
many?
you won't like me
No,
if
no,
we're broke?
no, probably not. No, hold on. But here's my point, right? How many people have family members that they love that they don't like? And then can you be in a relationship with that person? No. Can you still love them and maybe look out for them if they were in a horrible situation potentially or yes, right? So it has to be deeper than love to maintain or sustain a marriage. It has to be something
What's
else.
deeper than love?
Has to be something else. Like I
Like
like
what?
I
What is
can
deeper than
like
love?
respect, uh,
Okay.
respect, likability, uh, compatibility, um, things like
I
that.
thought you was gonna say money. Okay, my
No,
bad.
no, we already know. We
Okay,
already know that.
because I was like, "What's deeper than love?"
No,
You said money. I was gonna look at you like you
no.
were nuts.
So these things are can be looked at as aspects of love, but uh, I think in I think once you get to a certain level in your relationship in terms of time, love is just kind of automatic. So you can still kind of be in love with a person by not being like with a person or not actually. I don't know, like not to say that that stuff actually gets disconnected, but I think the things that I named, I think you have to have that in order to sustain a marriage for the long term.
Oh, I think I know what you mean, right? Because when people have challenging times, they might still love each other, but there's different things that get in the way. Like you said, if there's a lack of respect, if there is um, betrayal, if there's
Hmm.
things like that, then the love might not be enough because you need to have these other things or fix these other things to have to, I guess, tap back into it and have that be enough. Okay, so okay, I can agree with you there. I really thought you were talking about money.
Hmm.
Let's see. Okay, so these questions are talking about finances, parenting disagreements, career choices, like what role they play in sustaining a marriage. Because if love isn't enough, excuse me, do these other things play a role?
Yeah, I mean, the career choice is tied to money, so I don't know if we want to stretch that out a little bit further. Like I can't go from being in IT to selling ice cream on the streets. Like I think that would be problematic if I decided to like do something that wouldn't be able to financially support us or something that downgraded us a whole ton. Like here's my thriving career. I'm gonna I'm gonna do something else. We gotta move into a 1 bedroom apartment. The kid will sleep on the fold out couch. I think
Is it a
that
nice area?
not with my salary. We moving back. We moving back to the to this. Not with my new. Not with my. It's not even a salary anymore. It's hourly wages. So with my new hourly wage, we gotta move to the slums.
Oh, well, in that case, maybe that would be a problem.
Okay.
But I definitely think it still would be something that you'd have to talk about, right? Because if you felt like I really had this dream for this selling ice cream on the corner, I don't think that's something that you shouldn't share because you think, oh, this wouldn't fly.
Hmm.
I couldn't do this. I think you still would have to share it because maybe there's some way for that to work. I mean, there are people, literal people who selling stuff on corners and making like six figures. Like
Right.
I have heard of that, hot dogs or t-shirts or whatever. So to me, I don't see the point in knocking something before you have the full like information and vision about it
Hmm.
because you never know if ice cream. I know somebody who
I
I'm just
was
saying, right? That this is what I mean about like sometimes in relationships, people aren't talking about stuff because you're making assumptions. You're like, oh, they're not gonna do that, they won't like this, they won't agree to this. You don't know that unless you talk about it. And again, you might talk about it and they shut you down and tell you're stupid. But hopefully not. Hopefully you can have a conversation and you're not just, nixing something because you think they don't like it or your dreams are so all over the place that they're looking at you like, okay, this time it's ice cream. Last time it was t-shirts. Before that it was the music. And then like if it's that, then I can see like, okay, where are we going here? So I can see that.
Mhm.
Okay, final question. We've talked. Okay, we've alluded to this. Where have we butted heads
We did.
financially? Well, we've alluded. Well, we showed us butting heads. That's what I mean by alluding to. We've showed us
Uh-huh.
butting heads in terms of like disagreeing with how we see division of labor, but in terms of like financially, where have we butted heads? And the thing that came up was originally we had conversations about having a joint account versus separate accounts, and
Oh, you're going
having a
there. Okay, I didn't know
having a
that.
joint account with an allowance account for each person.
Yeah, the
Yeah.
allowance conversation. To me, it was brilliant. But go ahead.
Okay.
It's a brilliant idea.
I mean, lots of people do it, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
So I'll talk about it.
Of course. That's
It
why I
was a
paused.
brilliant idea, right? So the idea was take all the income. Somebody's making more money than another person. Doesn't matter. So from my perspective was everyone we're married. Everyone should have the same amount of spending privileges. Let's just say that, right? So let's just say, hey, you get $500 a month to spend on whatever you. Oh my gosh, where you go here, right?
You're
$500
the
a
one
month.
talking.
Yeah, but you pause to set it up. So $500 a month, you get that. I get $500 a month. So here's where we butted heads, right? She's a slick one too. She's a slick one. I'm like, all right, bet. I like investing. I'm gonna take my $500. I'm gonna flip it. It's going to the stock market, something like that. It's gonna get interest. So she'll take her $500, do whatever she's gonna do with it, right? So I don't know if it happened or it was starting to happen. Like I had these stocks and was making purchases and stuff like that. And she was like, well, what you get on that, like what you make on that, we gotta split that in half too, right? No, why? Like, why are we doing that? Like,
well, because then that becomes income, right? And isn't all the income in the joint account? He
oh,
said
so
that,
okay,
right?
yeah, okay,
He said that.
right. So, and I'm like, nah, because like,
it's mine.
yeah, it's mine. I'm being responsible with my money. So she goes, go ahead, tell them what you said. No, she's like, so what if I took $1 out of my 500 and won the lottery? Do I have to share that?
Answer the question.
I don't know. I said later.
You lie.
Later on, I said
he
no.
don't know.
Later
Wait,
on,
no,
no.
excuse
Later
me.
on, I said no.
Excuse
Later
me.
on, I said no.
Excuse me.
The chances you hitting the lotto is one in a billion.
Slim to none, right? But that's not what he said back then. He said yes. Yes, I would have to share. And then more recently, as we talked about this again, it was no, it doesn't matter because you're gonna put it in the joint account anyway, and I'm having no. You said I'm gonna have access to the benefit of it. Yes, you did.
No, I'm gonna benefit from it anyway.
He's gonna benefit from it anyway, so it wouldn't matter to him.
Whatever house you buy.
If I buy a house, he's gonna live in it. Yeah. If I go on a trip, he's coming with me, so he's gonna benefit. So. So basically, I would be sharing
as if she wasn't going to benefit from my investment.
Didn't sound like it because did it not sound like to you that he was going to do what he wanted to with it and keep it to himself because it's mine?
I mean, it depends. It depends if I needed to buy more camera equipment, more mics and stuff like that, more tech stuff.
Nah,
to get us going, to get us here.
Nah. This is the hypocrisy, right? Of the person who no, it's mine. I flip it. I can do what I want. It's mine. No, it's not ours. Oh wait, you got something? You share yours. Oh, mine sounds silly because it's nobody's really gonna win the lottery, so it doesn't matter, right? It is the principle and the thought behind
my thought process behind that changed. Like you do you. Let's go back to allowances. I'll flip mine.
Your thought process went from yes, you need to share it to it doesn't matter if you share it because I'm going to benefit, which to me is still me sharing, but he doesn't have to share his. So guess what? Do we have a joint account with allowances?
No.
Because I ain't dealing with that.
Okay. It doesn't make a difference anyway.
Yes, it would have.
No, it doesn't make a difference now, I'm saying.
Oh, now it does not.
No, we don't really, neither of us really spend a whole much, so.
And you know what? On that note, thank you for joining us for I Say All That to Say. Please like and subscribe and share this podcast with those you like and those you don't. And we hope that you join us next time.
All right, peace.